Hi. So the holidays are supposed to be joyful, but for women with autoimmune issues, they can feel like a perfect storm. I know, at least for me. There's more stress, there's more sugar, there's more rushing around, more eating on the go, and more emotional triggers. Do you feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions? Your immune system feels the same thing. It feels what's going on. So today I want to help you understand why in autoimmune disease we're extra sensitive during the holidays and how to get ahead of that stress so you're not starting January in a flare. How many of you have had flares in January? Whenever I get sick, it's always in January. Knock on wood. It doesn't happen every year. It hasn't happened in a while, which I'm kind of afraid to say, but it was always in January, always right after the holidays. So let me know in the comments if that's you, if that's what happens to you, the holiday stress just leads to something hitting you later on. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jen. I'm a culinary coach, a health educator, and someone who spent years getting knocked down by holiday stress before I really understood how to support my nervous system, support my gut, my immune system during the holidays. And so I want to help you with that too. So my history, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease in 2007. I didn't even know I had anything. It was all a plot to get the doctor to tell my husband to eat healthier. Only it backfired, and the doctor told me that there was something wrong with me. So enough about that. You can find my story in my YouTube on my podcast as well. If you have autoimmunity, the holidays aren't just emotionally stressful, they're also biochemically stressful. When we are feeling stressed, our entire body feels it. And when we have an underlying autoimmune illness, so for me, my antibodies are gone. But if I do any of the things I did before, if I let the stress get to me, then those antibodies are going to come up. And that's when I'm going to start having a flare. Our body responds differently to sugar, to rushing, to poor sleep, to overwhelm and stress. And so if you are trying to reverse your autoimmune disease or maintain or keep it in remission, you have to be really mindful of those things. You have the power and you have hope, though. It's not hopeless. There's three big things that happen this time of year. Our stress hormones stay elevated. Our body is in that go, go, go mode. There's so many things to get done. I know for me, I have to work, but then I'm also preparing for the holidays. And so there's extra things that have been added to my to-do list. So my cortisol climbs. Inflammation rises when that cortisol climbs, and our digestion slows down when that cortisol rises as well. So your digestion slows down, that interferes with your microbiome, and then that increases the chance of autoimmune antibodies. Sugar, holiday treats, those also spike inflammation. There's a whole lot more sugar around. If you missed my holiday gifts and edible gifts class I taught last Wednesday, it's still available. You can still get it at holisticgenholiday.com. And I taught you how to make several different treats for yourself and to give to other ones that are not going to spike your blood sugar. So those are fabulous. Check it out if you can. But even small amounts of sugar, just a little bit, like we said, I'm just gonna have a little bit here or there, that can still create a big immune response when you are already under stress and when you already have autoantibodies and your body is kind of reacting to everything. And so we don't realize that some foods can even spike our blood sugar when they don't contain sugar. And so I could be making something like gluten-free brownies or gluten-free cookies or something like that and not put any sugar in them, but they'll still spike my blood sugar if I'm using gluten-free flours, other processed flours, even if I'm not gluten-free, which hopefully if you're autoimmune you are, you need to be 100% gluten-free. Topic for another discussion. But flours are just very, very, very refined. They're easily absorbed and they spike our blood sugar. Now, if you're using something like a tiger nut or an almond or a coconut, that's a different story. But if you're using any other kind of gluten-free flour, that's going to be spiking our blood sugar. Gluten-free pastas, still, they're going to spike our blood sugar. It's the same as regular pasta. They're going to spike our blood sugar. Some of the bean pastas you have to test and see. But my point is, it's a highly processed food, and those processed foods inflame us and raise our blood sugar. we stop eating our normal grounding foods. And we need warm vegetables when it's cold outside. We need lots of fiber. We need to stay well hydrated. I always have my drink next to me. And we need to make sure we're still eating lots of greens that are full in minerals because we have to have those minerals. And when we're busy this time of year, I'm guilty as well. We're going out and we're eating things that are convenient. I know for me, I have less greens in my refrigerator. As a matter of fact, I just went and looked because I was like, oh, I think I want to have some kale with dinner. I don't even have any kale in the fridge. And so we're doing things that are a little more out of convenience when we need to be planning ahead to help calm our bodies, to keep cortisol low, and to keep a structure and routine, which is what our bodies really, really love. So here's what's happening. Stress is increasing cortisol, and then our body craves quick energy, so then it really wants sugar. And so that stress is really driving that sugar response. Sugar makes us feel like we've gotten some relief, but then that leads to inflammation. That inflammation leads to more stress, which affects our digestion, slows things down. And so it's a whole vicious cycle here. That stress also reduces dopamine, which we're looking for things that are going to help soothe us. So then we're trying to self-soothe and help with soothing, comforting foods, and that's usually fatty, sugary type foods, or maybe for you it's salt. I do crave a lot of salt, but I want salt in something like chips. I'm not looking for salt in like a celery juice, which is actually going to be a better choice. This is how our bodies have been designed. When we're stressed, we need fast fuel. We need energy, quick energy. And so we're looking for those things that are going to provide that quick energy. And that quick energy, unfortunately, leads to blood sugar spikes and things like that. So before I learned this, as I mentioned before, the holidays would get me every year. I'd eat really clean for months, and then November, December would hit, and suddenly I'm bloated, I'm tired, I'm puffy, I'm anxious. And I didn't understand why healthy foods could make me feel even worse because I was like, wait, I'm eating healthy foods. Why am I still craving? Why am I still going and grabbing another piece of chocolate out of the refrigerator? Once I understood the stress, blood sugar, immune loop that is happening, everything changed. And I learned different tools, which I'll talk about in a minute, that helped me reduce those cravings and feel like I'm back in control of my body. And so that's what I want for you. So just today, I was playing in the kitchen. I have a food prep. I'm doing a holiday food demo in a few minutes, and I realized I kept reaching for another piece of chocolate. So I made chocolate bars in the edible gifts class last Wednesday, and they don't have any sugar in them. We used other things to make them delicious without spiking blood sugar. But I still don't want to be eating chocolate bars all day, right? And I try not to eat between meals, but here I am in the kitchen. I'm between meals, and after my third time reaching in there and grabbing chocolate, I decided I need some minerals. I need some fast fuel. I'm a little stressed. I've had a lot I'm trying to balance today to get things checked off my list so that I can take time off during the holidays. And so I thought about it. I want something sweet. I want something high in minerals. So for me, I finished it right before I got on here. I was writing down what I want to talk about. And so I made a green juice. And so my green juice is celery, a little bit of apple. Too much apple juice will spike blood sugar. So I have a little bit of apple for that sweetness, a few sticks of celery for high minerals and some natural salts, pinch of ginger. I did like an inch of ginger. An inch of ginger is very antimicrobial. It's very antiviral, antibacterial, and so it's going to keep your immune system strong, but it's also not going to spike blood sugar. And then the juice of a lemon with some of the rind, because that's also very high in vitamin C and helps with immune balance, which we have autoimmune. That means our immune system is auto reacting and out of balance. And so we have to keep that in balance. So anyway, I drank that. It gave me some sweetness. It gave me some salt. It didn't spike my blood sugar at all. And it satisfied whatever craving it was. I was seeking comfort because I was stressed, and that satisfied and stopped those cravings for me. And so what happens is most of us during this time of year, our stress goes up, our cortisol goes up, which increases those cravings. You're reaching and grabbing for things. Our sugar intake rises because most of us don't have sugar-free chocolates in there. And if it is something with sugar or something that spikes blood sugar, maybe it was sugar-free, but it still spikes blood sugar, like those other treats I was talking about, inflammation goes up. And there's also, so I could be making something Um, that's not going to spike my blood sugar if I eat one. But if I eat three, then all of a sudden it's going to spike my blood sugar. Like for me, I love beans. Beans are really great for me, but not for everyone. If I eat a half a cup of beans with a salad or with the soup or something else with greens, it's not going to bother my blood sugar at all. But if I eat a whole cup of beans, like a whole cup of a bean chili with nothing else, my blood sugar is going to go up. So there's that fine point. We have to see what that fine point is, which is something I can teach you. We talk about it in my membership group. So I got off track. Anyway, cravings go up, sugar intake goes up, and then that leads to inflammation. Inflammation and stress slow our digestive tract down, so things stay in the colon longer than they should, and that throws off our microbial balance. That we have different types of bacteria and viruses and fungi we're supposed to have in there that are good. We have some that are pathogenic, and we have some that are like those seventh graders that can either be good or bad, and they're easily persuaded. And when our digestion slows down and sits in the colon, then we're more likely to influence those teens into being more pathogenic. And so that is when our gut gets off, and then that's going to increase more inflammation and more of an immune response and raise our antibodies. And so don't want that to happen. We don't want to slow down our digestion, which happens when we are stressed. We also, this time of year, tend to sleep less. We stay up late, we go to parties, we watch holiday movies and things staying up late. And then we don't get high quality sleep. Maybe you're having a cocktail instead of a mocktail, or you're drinking a mocktail that spikes your blood sugar, and that affects your sleep as well. So, anyway, we're not sleeping, that increases inflammation and that slows down digestion. And so our immune system reacts to these different things. And so you can see there's lots and lots of different things that could be happening. And then what happens after the holidays, we start to relax, and then boom, we end up sick. And so that used to be me. I used to be sick in January, February, March, like I said. And for me, when my autoimmune antibodies weren't under control, if I got sick, I was sick for months. Like people would say, I get sick and I'm sick for like 5 days and then it's gone, or a cold will last like 5 days. Not for me. It was 3 months. And it has been, knock on wood, every time. And it was always a January, February, March. And so I don't want that to happen to me, and I don't want it to happen to any of you either. And so let's talk about what we can do to prevent that from happening. First of all, find ways to relax throughout the day. Make it a point, a high priority. Your health is so important. You've got to find ways to have a break or a pause throughout the day. Starting your day with some quiet time. If journaling's your thing, it's not mine, but journaling, if that's something you enjoy doing. This time of year, I like to just sit on the couch and stare at the Christmas tree and the beautiful lights and the sparkles. And so it's really easy for me to just look at the tree for 5 minutes and pause, and do that, before each meal. Do that before bed. Do that when you wake up. Just 5 times where you just prayed or meditated or just breathe. And then there's free apps too. And these are things that I teach in my membership group as well. Just ways to calm down your body and let it know, hey, I am safe, because that's what our body needs. It needs to know it's safe. But I went out on another tangent. So starting your day, not only with a meditation, but also with a nutrient-dense breakfast. If your body's under a lot of stress and then you're trying to make it till noon because someone told you intermittent fasting is best for you, it's not best for you if it's adding stress to your body. So you need to make sure your body feels safe. If you are comfortable, no cravings or hunger until noon, okay, we're all individuals. But if you wake up and you're hungry, then start your day with a nutrient-dense meal. I like chia puddings made with non-dairy milk and no sugar. A green smoothie with just the right amount of fruit so you're not spiking your blood sugar. Lots of omega-3 rich nuts and seeds in there. Walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, not just a teaspoon, but a full tablespoon of those seeds ground into there. We need them ground. Even warm vegetables, a soup, a miso soup or a tofu soup if you do soy. Something warming to the body or comforting or something that provides lots of nutrition is the best way to start your morning. And a balanced meal. So it's got proteins, fats, and carbs. And yes, I'm whole food plant-based. I have been since 2007. And you can get plenty of protein from those nuts and seeds. And if you use any greens as well. It doesn't have to be protein powders. Those can help as well. Number two, I'm keeping mindfulness on the side. Now, so number one, eat a nutrient dense breakfast. Number two, eat intentionally before any events. If you know you're going somewhere, eat something nutritious before you go. That way you're not going to be likely to crave something. Drink something like a green drink that's not going to spike your blood sugar. That way you have something in your belly, you have your mineral needs met, and you're going to be less likely to be grabbing sugary type things or sugary drinks. Support your digestion. So take 3 slow breaths before each meal, or doing a pause like looking at the Christmas tree or something. Just relaxing, looking at your food, being mindful of your meal, and calming your body down. Don't eat in front of the computer. Don't eat while you're working. Hydrate more than you think. And so, like I said, keep a water with you and sip throughout the day. Don't gulp, sip throughout the day and keep your body well hydrated. And then stick to a schedule as much as you can. Our body likes structure, it likes routines, it likes predictability. And so going to bed at the same time as often as you can, waking up at the same time as often as you can, and eating at the same time each day, if you can, is going to be ideal. There are a couple of non-negotiables for every day. Number one, make sure you have something green every day. A raw green salad, some steamed greens, greens in a soup, however you can get those greens in. Have the rainbow foods. Make sure each day you're getting red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple in your meals somehow, some way. Maybe have an herbal tea for groundedness, maybe having a green drink. Maybe that's too cold for you this time of year. Finding something you can do that's nourishing, like a nettles tea. I love to start my day with a nettles peppermint tea. And then give yourself grace. It's not about being perfect. I always say progress over perfection. So do something you can do today better than yesterday. And don't freak out if you didn't do quote unquote all the things. Relax. What's most important right now? In a year, is missing something today going to be that crucial? Try to think about it that way. If not meeting this deadline is going to ruin me, if not wrapping this present today, is that going to mess up everything? Maybe not, right? And so before you start getting stressed, reflect. What's most important right now? Your health. Your health is what's most important. So if this season tends to knock you off of balance, if stress eating makes you feel defeated, if you start January inflamed and uninspired, you need better tools. You need a routine to support your nervous system. And this is something that I teach inside the Culinary Healing Circle. Let me know if you'd like to join us in the comments, and I'll send you a link. I would love to have you in there. When you eat nutrient dense meals, your body recognizes it. It knows those foods. It knows what to do with those foods. When we eat in season and we follow structure and routines, that's when our body feels safe and when antibodies go down. So share this with a friend who's already feeling overwhelmed and join culinaryhealingcircle.com. And I will see you again next week.